Ego excitement is where the doer dies. Ego excitement is becoming. Seeing it is unbecoming. Ego excitement is where the doer dies. First, understand who the doer is. The doer is not ambition. The doer is not discipline. The doer is not effort. The doer is contact with the task. When the doer is alive, there is no commentary. There is no self-reference. There is no psychological future. The nervous system is quiet. Work happens because it is in front of you. Now watch carefully what ego excitement does. Ego excitement introduces anticipation, self-evaluation. This is important. This will change me. The moment this enters, attention leaves the task and turns inward. You are no longer doing, you are watching yourself do. That is the death of the doer. What remains is performance and monitoring, both psychological, both noisy, both inefficient. This is not philosophy, this is mechanics. Ego excitement is becoming. Becoming means I am moving toward a version of myself. That moment always requires time and identity. Ego excitement fuels this by saying, I am progressing, I am transforming, I am rising, I am falling. Yes, even this. The mind cannot tolerate nothing happening psychologically, so it manufactures motion. That motion is becoming. It feels alive because the nervous system is stimulated, but stimulation is not intelligence, it is arousal. Seeing it is unbecoming. Unbecoming is not a practice, it is not detachment, it is not control. Unbecoming happens when illusion is no longer believable. The moment ego excitement is seen as avoidance, nervous energy, self-intoxication, it collapses on its own. Why? Because the body does not chase what it sees clearly. Seeing is the end of becoming, not effort, not discipline, not renunciation, just clarity. One thing you must not misunderstand. Do not turn this into I must stay calm, I must avoid excitement, I must be silent. That is ego continuing the game with a spiritual mask. Ego excitement does not end by suppression, it ends by irrelevance. When reality is sufficient, illusion has nowhere to stand. Final sentence. This is the knife. When excitement enters, ask nothing, suppress nothing, observe only this. Is this energy required to do the work or to escape the moment? If you see the answer, the doer returns. Not as an identity, not as an achievement, but as silence in motion. When ego excitement arises, the doer disappears. What remains is the performer, image maintenance, the watcher, self-consciousness. Both are psychological movements, neither is work. But here is the correction you must see clearly. Ego excitement is not energy, it is nervous system intoxication. It feels like motivation, passion, meaning, drive, but it is actually becoming, image amplification, future-based tension. The nervous system is stressed, yes, but more importantly, it is distracted. That is why you called it a trap. That word is accurate. What dies during ego excitement? Not effort, not intelligence. What dies is contact with reality. You are no longer responding to what is. You are responding to what you could be, how you might be seen, what this means about you. That is not doing. That is psychological theater. The doer dies. Clarify this. The true doer has these properties. No excitement, no self-reference, no narrative, no urgency, no psychological reward. When excitement enters, this doer cannot exist. Why? Because excitement requires a future self, and the doer exists only now. Ego excitement is becoming, correct, but understand this precisely. Becoming is not an action, becoming is the avoidance of what is. The mind cannot stay with emptiness, uncertainty, or silence, so it projects ambition, suffering, meaning, even growth. That projection feels alive, but it is escape. The moment you see the truth, you unbecome. This is correct, but dangerous if misunderstood. Unbecoming is not an act. You do not do unbecoming. Unbecoming happens the moment the nervous system stops chasing psychological payoff. Excitement is seen as cost, not fuel. Seeing is enough. The moment something is seen clearly, the body no longer needs to pursue it. That is not virtue, that is intelligence. One final correction. Do not turn this into I must avoid excitement. I must be silent. I must be detached. That is ego pretending to kill ego. The test is simple and brutal. Can you work without inner commentary? Can you act without knowing what it means about you? Can you move without asking, is this significant? If yes, the doer is alive. If no, you are watching yourself perform. You are not confused, but you are standing at a dangerous edge. Do not use this insight. Do not identify with it. Let it strip you. Silence does not congratulate. Truth does not excite. Reality does not care about your understanding. That is why it is free. Becoming is not an action. Action happens in reality. Becoming happens in psychology. When you lift a weight, speak to a person, write a line of code, that is action. When you ask, what does this say about me? Becoming has begun. Becoming has no physical footprint. It exists only as self-image, time projection, internal narration. That is why it feels busy yet produces nothing real. Becoming is avoidance of what is. What is what is? Uncertainty, not knowing, emptiness, silence, ordinariness, lack of meaning, no identity. The nervous system experiences these as threat. So it does not stay, it escapes. And the escape routes are very sophisticated. Why the mind cannot stay with emptiness? Emptiness has no dopamine, no reward, no storyline, no future payoff. The ego cannot survive without continuity. So when continuity collapses, the mind panics and asks, who am I if nothing is happening? Becoming is the answer to that panic. How projection works, this is key. The mind throws a psychological object into the future so it can keep moving. The object can be ambition, I am becoming someone important. This gives direction, hierarchy, justification for stress. But the movement is not toward work, it is away from now. Suffering, I am a wounded person. This is rarely seen. Pain gives identity, it gives depth, it gives a story. Many people would collapse without their suffering. So they unconsciously protect it. That is becoming too. Meaning, this must stand for something. Meaning is often the most respectable escape. Reality does not promise meaning. Meaning is added so the nervous system can tolerate existence, even growth. I am evolving. This is the most dangerous projection because it wears the mask of truth. But ask carefully, who's growing? Toward what? Compared to whom? If there is a psychological endpoint, becoming is operating. That projection feels alive. Yes, because it stimulates. Becoming creates tension, anticipation, anxiety, excitement. Those register as aliveness. But it is not aliveness. It is arousal, like caffeine, like gambling, like social validation. Remove it suddenly and the system feels dull, flat, empty. That emptiness is not death, it is withdrawal. But it is escape. Escape from what? From insignificance, not being special, not knowing, not being in control. Becoming says, I will matter later. Reality says, there is only now. That gap is unbearable for the ego. What happens when becoming drops? No romance. When becoming drops, motivation collapses, urgency disappears, comparison dies, identity weakens. For a while, it feels like laziness, confusion, loss. I am stuck. This is why most people restart becoming quickly. They call it discipline, goals, purpose, self-improvement, but it is the same movement, repackaged. The quiet truth, listen carefully. When there is no becoming, action still happens, effort still happens, learning still happens, but nobody is becoming anything. Work is done because it is in front of you, not because it leads somewhere psychologically. This state is deeply ordinary, completely unattractive to ego, profoundly efficient. Final sentence. Do not memorize this. If your movement needs a future version of you to justify it, you are escaping the present. If your movement stands without explanation, the doer is alive. That is all. Ego excitement is not a problem to solve. It is an illusion to be seen. The moment excitement is required to move, you are no longer in contact with reality. You are escaping it. The doer does not need motivation. The doer does not need meaning. The doer does not need a future self. The doer exists only when there is no one becoming. Seeing this does not make you better, it makes you quieter. And in that quiet, work happens, clarity sharpens, and life moves without asking what it means. Nothing is gained, nothing is lost, only the unnecessary falls away. That is enough.